Well, hey y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess. I'm in here with a huge bouquet of sweet basil. I've got some ripe tomatoes and tomatoes that are ripening that I need to get to. And we decided to pick all of the green tomatoes and go ahead and pull the vines up because the temperatures are dropping. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some gimp cord. We're going to wash our basil, take some gimp cord and get those strung up and hung around our house until they're dry. And then for the tomatoes, I've got paper cut. And I've got an empty basket. I'm going to start filling it, and then I'm going to work on getting all these green tomatoes wrapped. Why would I wrap them? Well, they ripen faster when they're wrapped, and so we're going to put them in an empty basket in our pantry where it's cool and dark and allow them to continue to ripen. Any of them that may have blemishes on them, though, I'm going to pull aside, let them ripen naturally, and they'll be fed to the chickens. So that is the idea for today. I'm telling you what, this is some beautiful basil. Let me see if I can pull one out without destroying the whole thing. But there it is. Beautiful basil. I had a loose leaf up here, but I don't know what happened to it. There it is. So that is a basil leaf. Of course, it's got a little blemish on it, but that's okay. Some of this is going to be made into cleaners, and then some of it's going to be dried, and we'll be using it for culinary purposes. So I've got a huge, huge basket, probably about 15, 20 pounds or more of sweet basil. Unbelievable. And a half bushel of green tomatoes and a few banana peppers in here. There's still a few green beans coming in sporadically. But when you're making fried green tomatoes, you actually do not want to use a real green tomato because the chemicals in a green tomato are poisonous. You want them to blush just a little bit. So there's a tip for you, and we are going to get started on wrapping these. And let me get my basket where I can get to it. I'm also going to end this video with pictures of the baby duck and the chickens and the turkeys and the older ducks. So let me get this set on the floor so that I can work. And I've got baskets sitting everywhere, y'all. Everywhere. Everywhere. We're going to put this one over here. I've got to get that one emptied out because I'm probably going to be using that one too. So basically, you're going to check your tomatoes. Now this one has a little bit of a blemish there, but I think it's going to be okay. And I've cut them in different sizes because tomatoes come in different sizes. So I've got some bigger sheets here. And I'm just going to wrap them just a little bit and drop them into the basket. That's all I'm doing. So I thought y'all would like to see what I'm doing here today. And they don't have to be perfect, but you want to have them wrapped, and you can actually stack them, 2 or 3 deep. That's perfectly okay. You will want to go into your pantry every week or so. This one's got a bad spot on it, so that one's going to go to the side. So there's another small one. You're going to go into your pantry every week, 2 weeks, or up to, maybe a month or longer. Check your tomatoes to see how they're ripening. Few of them will not ripen. If they're really dark green tomatoes, they probably will not ripen for you. But you can use these. If you want them to just blush, you can make a tomato chow chow. You can make a green tomato ketchup, which is delicious, by the way. I've done that. there's many recipes out there for canning tomato products. And I love tomatoes, but we are running out of space on our pantry shelf right now. This one still has the stem attached. And so I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to do with these tomatoes. The ones in the other basket are probably going to be dehydrated and turned into those dry roasted tomatoes. Now this one's got a spot on it, but it looks like it's got, it looks like it might be okay. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this one. I got to get a bigger sheet. So I thought I'd bring y'all along just for a little bit this morning, just kind of show you what I'm going to be doing with these. So just wrap, and get them into a basket or a box. A paper cardboard box works perfectly as well. Now on this, where did I put my GIMP cord? I set it down somewhere. We'll get to that in a minute. I'll have to find my cord. I brought it in here, but I don't know what I did with it. Anyway, you want to check your tomatoes over very well to make sure that they're going to be good. See, this one's got a couple of spots, so I'm going to move that one to the side because we know those are not going to ripen right. They're going to go soft on you. So here's another beautiful tomato. It's just a process when you live on a farm. And we know winter's coming. We want to get as much food stored back as possible. And this is one way to finalize your harvest of your green tomatoes without throwing them out. A lot of people don't know how to store them properly. And so you could let them sit out on your shelf, you know, out on a ledge of your house or somewhere on a windowsill or countertop and let them ripen, but I have way too many for that. So we're just going to put them in the basket and put them into the pantry until they begin to ripen. And as they begin to ripen, you pull the tomatoes out, and you'll have tomatoes for a while, fresh tomatoes. We'll probably have fresh tomatoes up and through December, and you can take your ripened or your partially green tomatoes and throw them in the freezer and have tomatoes as well. There is some contention about canning green tomatoes. It's probably not the best practice in the world, but I have canned green tomato slices and had fried green tomatoes all winter long. So, I mean, it's just a wonderful product to have on your shelves. So here we go. We're going to wrap this one up. We're getting our basket fairly full already, and I'll probably have to find more baskets to get all of these done. I don't have a big enough box to store them in right now. And so, like I said, you want to check your tomatoes and make sure that they are ripe. So I have wrapped about half of that into this basket, and I'm probably going to empty that basket out and then put them all in that basket and store them in my pantry with some paper towels on the bottom just in case the tomatoes start to leak. And so that would be how you would store your green tomatoes to ripen them over the winter months, fall months. So I've got my GIMP cord. I found my GIMP cord. And let's see if I can pull some of these out without spilling them onto the floor. We're going to pretend that I have already washed these, and I'm going to gather them in my hand. I'm going to take my cord and I'm going to wrap my cord tightly around the top of this a couple of times to make sure you got it good and tight. Then we're going to tie it, and we're going to tie a hang knot on it as well. That way we can hang these. Let me get a pair of scissors and cut this string. So I'm just going to take the two pieces up here, and I'm just going to make a knot with that, and that would be hung up to dry. And so that is how we do it here on the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. Of course, these aren't washed yet. I'll have to go and wash these and allow them to drip dry for a little while before I hang them. The idea is you don't want any bugs or anything being in your basil. Now, if you had smaller heads of basil, you can certainly do the same thing, but you're going to put them in a paper bag and allow that to dry inside of a loose paper bag. You don't want it tight on there, so that it gets air. And so that is how I'm going to be tying these and getting them ready to go into to be hung up throughout our house until they are dry, and then I will be putting them into jars, either for a homemade cleaners or for our use as a herb in our pantry. Loose leaves like this can be laid out on a cookie sheet and put into a hot oven. The lowest temperature on your oven, which on mine is 170 degrees, and you would want to watch them to make sure when they're dry that you go ahead and pull them out, or you could put them on a dehydrator shelf and dry them that way. Dehydrator, I usually do everything on 145 degrees, but because these are leaves, I probably would go with a lower temperature like 125 or 135. And just again, you want to watch them until they're dry. That way you're preserving all the good oils and nutrients and everything that is inside your bay leaves, or basil leaves, I'm sorry, sweet basil leaves. So those are some tips for y'all today. We're going to get to the birds, and I hope that you enjoy watching our chickens, ducks, and turkeys. Baby duck is getting bigger. It won't be long till it will join the other ducks. Our baby chicks are growing too. These are our BB Reds Bantam chickens. Aren't they beautiful? The rooster weighs about 2.5 pounds. The hens weigh about 2 pounds. And we still have broody hens on the nest. Our Tom Turkey Poult has a visitor. Old Mama Hen is checking in on him. Good girl. Good girl, calming him down, yes. Our hens have slowed their egg production. Many of the older hens are now molting. Our young hens have begun to lay their eggs, though. This year, our flocks have grown in numbers. Many hens have become broody. We have many new hens and a couple of new roos hatched by all our hens. All of our chickens, turkeys, and ducks are out in the fields. They range all day long in the fields, and they have healthy baby chicks, healthy eggs, and they are healthy themselves. Unlike the ones that you find in the stores, the eggs are raised by chickens in cages. Hubby completed the new roosting bars. You'll see these in just a moment. He made the roosting bars go from one end of the coop all the way down to the other end, and he's going to add some steps in there for them to get on the roasting post. We have fresh watering stations also filled with fresh water daily. Our ducks are still enjoying playing in the pools. Hubby has begun removing the spring and summer plants from our garden. Aren't the flowers just beautiful? There goes our second set of ducks. They were raised second and separate from the first set. These are our oldest ducks. This is all I have left of my beautiful yellow cannas. The chickens devoured everything, including the roots, up to this point. The zinnias are huge this year. Aren't they beautiful? Thank you, my friends, for watching, and may you be fully blessed.